In this video, I'm going to share with you guys a fairly new strategy that I've been experimenting with in order to clean Windows streak-free. Now let's get straight into it. What's going on? So glad you guys are here and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you are a professional auto detailer who wants to become more successful and profitable in your business, or just a car enthusiast who wants to improve your detailing ability, then definitely consider hitting that big red subscribe button right below this video. Now, before I share with you guys the exact strategy that I use in order to get these windows streak-free, I want to talk about kind of the nature of windows and overspray before we do anything else, because if you guys have been in the detailing world, you know that overspray on windows, especially things like all-purpose cleaners and degreasers, and particularly degreasers, if you're doing it in the sun and you're detailing in the sun, so, you know, you're overspray, you're spraying in the car, you're spraying in the cup holders, you're spraying in the door jambs, and that overspray starts to stick to the glass. And so after that, all of that overspray has stuck to the paint, and then you go to clean the glass, whether you use like a 50-50 solution of alcohol and distilled water and a magic eraser, or even like a waffle weave towel, and some people use even all-purpose cleaner itself with a magic eraser. It's difficult to get that overspray off, especially along this line right here, the lower part of the window, because maybe you sprayed it directly onto the door panel itself, or maybe you sprayed it on your microfiber right here, and a lot of times this lower part and these corners especially get hit with overspray that even when you're trying to remove it with a magic eraser and a towel, it can be very difficult. And so this is specifically how to remove this pesky like overspray from these windows without having to drive yourself insane. So the big question is, what do I do? Well, number one, for this strategy, I am going to be using a waffle weave drying towel, though you do not have to. You could use a glass specific microfiber, something like this, but I'm just gonna try to keep it simple here. Now, for this video, I am going to be using my VX5000 steamer, and I am literally going to be steam cleaning these windows. However, it's not quite that simple, so let me show you what I do. So yes, I could just take my steamer and just spray it all over the window and then wipe it off, but once again, that's not going to give me very good results, because this is at the end of the day just distilled water. And so unless I really use this correctly, it's not going to take anything off. Now, the reason why the steamer works in this scenario is simply because it literally heats up the overspray to the point where it's going to melt off of the window and onto your towel as you're drying. And so if any of you guys have ever used a steamer to actually clean the outside of your paint, maybe during like the winter or something like that, this is going to work a lot the same way. So I'm not going to speed this up because I want to show you guys kind of my strategy in this and talk you through it after you see it. So here it is, just going to let you guys see it. I'm not going to try to talk you through anything, but I'm just going to hit this lower half right here. And then of course I'll switch to kind of my dry side and buff off any of that residue. Now let me kind of explain what I just did, and it's probably obvious, but basically I just went very slow. I pointed the steamer head very close to the window. Now I don't suggest doing this on tinted windows, because could you get away with it for a little while? Probably, but eventually you might bubble the tint, you might actually start to peel it off, and you don't want to do that. So I went extremely slowly, and I just used my waffle weave towel to kind of mop up the excess residue and to be a little aggressive and to kind of scrub as that steamer is melting off the overspray. So I can show you guys, and I probably should have shown you the before, but especially down in this corner, there was a ton of that overspray. The overspray kind of appears, it almost looks kind of like a spider web almost when it sits there and gets baked on in the sun. But once again, the idea is that, okay, well, the sun baked on the overspray, so if I can use heat to get it on, I can probably use heat to get it off. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here, is literally holding the steamer head. It's not going to hurt the glass. It's important to understand the steamer is just blowing out extremely hot water. It's not gonna like bubble the glass or anything like that it would do to the paint. So you can hold it as close as you want, and once again, it's a good idea to hold it very close. And what I do is literally go in lines like this. I start with the most kind of horrible part of the window, and then I move upwards. So I'm gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna move a little bit up and do it again, and I'm gonna keep making these horizontal lines until I get to the very top. And I'm really using the steamer to get in these corners, to get in these crevices of the window that I might not get otherwise. So here's what that looks like. Now I have not cleaned the outside of the window, so this isn't like the perfect video on this, but it certainly looks very clear in the camera and you cannot see any overspray. I'll zoom in really close. If you guys see marks, it's definitely on the outside of the paint, but really the outside isn't even that dirty, so you really can't see any marks or anything like that. But look through the looking glass. It looks very, very, very good. I'll pull back just a second. And there you have it. So now you guys could see literally all I was doing was just following the steamer with my microfiber. Yes, I was rubbing a little bit aggressively, but if you find certain spots, the steamer makes it so easy because it's not a chemical, and so even if it flash dries onto the window, it's just distilled water. There's not even any minerals in it, and so if it gets on the window, anything is gonna take it off. It's not stuck there, it's not permanent. I mean, you could wipe it off with a microfiber towel, and so it's an amazing strategy to use in the sun, because once again, the sun beating down on the glass makes it very difficult to get streak-free glass. Yes, you can use the 50/50 alcohol, you can use the Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner and a magic eraser, all that stuff is great, but when that stuff flash dries onto the window, it can become a hassle. So when you're in the direct sun like I am as a mobile detailer all the time, this really does work as a great strategy, and the steamer gets in the spaces that you can't get to, and so all I have to do is shove the steamer down there and then shove my microfiber down there, and I don't have to worry about anything else. And so once again, when you're in the sun, this works incredibly, and you don't have to have the VX5000 steamer. You don't have to have an $800 steamer. You can have a $200 steamer, a $100 steamer, which I will hook up in the description box below these videos so you guys can check that out. But another reason why I love this, and I just want to reiterate it, is because it is chemical free. And so once again, one of the reasons that windows streak so often is literally because of the chemicals we use on them or inside of the car. And so when you're using something that's chemical free, it makes it very, very easy to get streak free windows. And so I am going to follow up with the glass shine. I'm gonna follow up with like either Meguiar's Express Spray Wax, or I'm gonna follow up with Stoner Window Shine or something like that. But this is just totally down to its foundation, down to its most bare level, because that steam melts anything off of that window. So would a magic eraser do it? Yes, but can a magic eraser get in these corners? No, it can't. So this is stripped down bare all the way to its foundation, just using hot distilled water. One other tip that is important to note when you're doing this is when you're using a towel, it's obviously going to get very wet while you do this, and so it's difficult to maintain a wet side and a dry side all the time because you're loading it up with water as you're steaming the window. So I would set aside at least a towel per window, or a towel per like 2 windows, something like that, that you just reserve solely for windows, of course, because you don't want to use your other microfibers that you use on the carpet and stuff on the windows. But once again, I'd like to reiterate that I am going to follow up with a glass shine, and the reason I love this strategy is because if I would have used Meguiar's APC and the magic eraser, or if I would have used a 50/50 solution of distilled water and alcohol to strip the window clean, when I follow up with the window shine, sometimes I'm having to use the window shine to kind of get rid of the alcohol streaks or the all-purpose cleaner streaks that I just previously used, and it gets sticky, especially in the sun. It's difficult to do. But once again, if there's any streaks on this window, the streaks are only from the distilled water, and so whatever glass shine I use, it's gonna take those streaks off like that. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's not difficult at all, because once again, the only thing that's streaking at this point is distilled water. It's not oils, it's not chemicals. So when I do follow up to actually finish the window, it's going to look absolutely level 10. So if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to tell me how you clean windows, hook up all that stuff in the YouTube comments below, because I always read those, and I'm sure to get back to you guys as fast as I can. And if you are interested in getting your hands on a steamer yourself, because of course in the detailing world, steamers go way beyond windows. I mean, they could literally be used for basically every part of the interior and even exterior of the car. So if you're interested in kind of shopping around for steamers, improving your own detailing business, or just you're a weekend warrior and you'd like to get one for your own cars that you detail, I will hook up the steamer that I use in this video, which is the VX5000. But once again, I use like an $800 steamer, and that might not be in your price range. So I will also hook up other steamers that are less expensive but still give great results that I have toyed with and have experience with. I will hook up those links to Amazon to those steamers in the description box below, so definitely check those out to see what suits you. And of course, if you use my links to purchase anything from Amazon, it does give this channel a very small commission, but it helps this channel stay alive so I can keep giving out awesome content just like this all the time. And if you are new here, then definitely consider subscribing, because I come out with videos all the time just like this on products, tools, strategies, communication skills, business skills, and so much more, all in an effort to help the pro detailers become more successful and profitable in their businesses. And on this channel, I share the same strategies that turned my auto detailing business into a full-time income with only part-time hours. So if that interests you, definitely consider subscribing. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you guys in the next video. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys a fairly new strategy that I've been experimenting with in order to clean Windows streak-free. Now let's get straight into it. What's going on? So glad you guys are here, and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you are a professional auto detailer who wants to become more successful and profitable in your business, or just a car enthusiast who wants to improve your detailing ability, then definitely consider hitting that big red subscribe button right below this video. Now, before I share with you guys the exact strategy that I use in order to get these windows streak-free, I want to talk about kind of the nature of windows and overspray before we do anything else, because if you guys have been in the detailing world, you know that overspray on windows, especially things like all-purpose cleaners and degreasers, and particularly degreasers, if you're doing it in the sun and you're detailing in the sun, so you know, you're overspray, you're spraying in the car, you're spraying in the cup holders, you're spraying in the door jambs, and that overspray starts to stick to the glass. And so after that, all of that overspray has stuck to the paint, and then you go to clean the glass, whether you use like a 50-50 solution of alcohol